Hey guys, welcome to Angel Angela. Today's video, we're going to be talking about taking the narcissist joker back because, the narcissist truly is a joker, a clown, and there's a story, a comic story behind it with Harley Quinn and the Joker. And I think that a lot of narcissists, I don't know if it's just, my situation and people I've heard, but I think that they're very intrigued with the villain, not just the Joker, but any movie that has a villain somewhere in there. I feel like narcissistic people, they love horror flicks. They, anything anything that's basically has something to do with doing evil harm. I think that they find it very thrilling. I know, my ex, he had a tattoo of a villain tatted on him. So, he did refer to himself as the Joker. And honestly, when he started referring to himself as the Joker, I didn't really, think too deep in it. I didn't think that he was, throwing subliminals at me, because I wasn't really into the character of Harley Quinn. I mean, when I was younger and Batman used to come on, I always, saw her, acting crazy, and the comic books, and I just always kind of was like, oh, like she's just a crazy clown. But I didn't really understand the story behind it. Kind of like, music and different things. When we're growing up as a kid, we really don't understand even love songs until we finally have our first heartbreak, and then we listen to a song that we heard, back in the day, and you're like, oh, I can understand what this song actually means now, because now you know what pain feels like. So with the narcissist joker, it's kind of the same thing. You kind of don't understand it. So when, you're watching the movie and you just see how in love Quinn is with a Joker, a part of you sympathizes with the Joker, even when you're watching the movie. I mean, I remember the last movie that came out, when the movie came out, everyone was so intrigued with the love story between Quinn and the Joker, and it was like goals for everyone to love someone that deep, and the narcissistic energy right now is definitely as at its highest right now. It's like even being promoted at this point, and that's part of what puts a lot of people into these trauma bonding situations. So, with that being said, if we kind of go back into the movie where basically Quinn was, a doctor, she was writing a book, she basically, was the Joker's therapist, and she knew that he was a liar, a pathological liar. She actually knew these things before she got trauma bonded with him. You have to understand, in most victim situations, when the narcissist leaves, you're like super shocked. You can't believe it, and you're so hurt because you didn't see it coming, right? But then when the narcissist comes back, a part of you just wants to give it another chance because you're trauma bonded. You have to think about Quinn in this situation. She actually went into this situation knowing that he was a pathological liar, and that, you know, her whole goal was to kind of get him talking about his past, how he grew up, because she was intrigued with knowing, with studying this narcissistic personality disorder. She was intrigued by it. So she wanted to kind of know his background, his childhood, and she wanted to write a book. So she was kind of using him, and he was also trying to use her by manipulating her to help him break out of where he was, which was like, I believe like some type of mental hospital, type of jail. And he basically wanted to use his, his fake charm, as ugly as he was, and he wanted to manipulate her into just breaking him out. And when he did break, when he would finally break out, he wanted to kill her. So she came into the situation knowing. She basically knew he was a pathological liar. She fed into everything. But at the end, he wanted to kill her. There was no empathy in his heart. They were basically using each other. The only difference is that Harley had the upper hand over him, right? Because she was a doctor, she could have easily not let him manipulate her, because she's supposed to be someone, with a degree, someone who kind of knows what they're doing. But somehow she felt sorry for him, and that's where the manipulation gets really deep for a lot of people, because they don't understand really what's going on. But the Joker on the real comic series, this was actually on the movie, but on the real comic series, there's comics where the Joker is actually, he hit Harley Quinn so hard in the face with a fish, and she just like flew out of the window. The window cracked and everything, and she ended up in the hospital. And I guess the nurse had walked in, and she's telling Quinn, like, you shouldn't have, this is basically what happens when you're so dependent on a man, and Quinn was looking really sad, like she was ready to cry, like, because you're being devalued. Some of us get physically abused, some just mentally, some both. So she's sitting here trying to figure out what just happened, and then she turns around and she looks at the table, and there's this vase with a flower in it, and it has a note, and it says, "Feel better," and when the nurse tells her, this is what happens when you're dependent on a man, and she's staring at them flowers, she's like, how does it feel? You're in this hospital, like wrapped up in bandages, and you're all beat up. How does it feel? And Quinn said, it felt like a kiss, and she started blushing, because she felt like, hey, yeah, he beat me up, he did all these things to me, but look, he sent me a flower, so it has to be love. But that's the art and the cycle of manipulation, and that's usually how it starts. So when we're speaking on taking the narcissist, Joker back, you have to understand that you're dealing with a manipulative person. And when you really think about what is manipulation, that's aiming to change the behavior or perception of others through the deception, indirect or underhanded tactics, which means that these methods are considered as exploitation. So when someone's manipulating you, they're trying to deceive you. And they're trying to deceive you because they want to exploit you. So when someone is trying to exploit you, that means that they're trying to take advantage of you. You get me? And if someone is trying to take advantage of you, in order for them to do that, to exploit you, to take advantage of you, they have to deceive you. So that's where the art of deception comes about. And when someone is being deception, is in a very deception mind state, this makes them devious. When someone is devious to you, they're going to commit fraud. They're going to, of course, deceive you and cheat on you and lie to you. And they're going to pretend. They're going to bluff. They're going to do trickery on you. They're immoral people. They're immoral people, which means that they don't have any morals. There's nothing that they won't do. No one taught them to have morals, to stand for rightness, goodness. They're all about exploitation and deception. Because if they exploit you and they deceive you, they're able to manipulate you. So when you think about a manipulative person, the first word that comes to mind to me is con artist. Someone who is trying to exploit you and deceive you and manipulate you, this is a con artist. So when you're dealing with a con artist and they want to manipulate you, in order for them to con you and to manipulate you, they have to brainwash you. They have to literally wash your brain. They have to wash your brain into thinking you're wrong and forcing unrealistic beliefs on you. So they're brainwashing you, and that's why a lot of times you have gut feelings that something's not right, that there's something terribly wrong with this person, or sometimes you feel it in your gut that this is what's going on, but somehow, of course, they're very manipulative, and they're going to brainwash the whole situation and brainwash you. So you have to think about the narcissist and how he left you. He was literally a con artist from the start, from the moment that he met you. So before even meeting you, say if you met online or if you met in person, it doesn't really matter. But whenever the relationship started, they already knew in their mind that they're not going to have any relationships in their life, in their existence, that come together with love, because they are con artists. And when they come back, when the Joker comes back, he just wants to come and play more jokes on you. And like the Harley Quinn story that I told you about, when the Joker hit Quinn with the fish, the reason he actually hit her with a fish was because he actually made a joke and she didn't get the joke, and that's when he smacked her. And he said something about he smacked her because he shouldn't have to explain a joke to her. So these people, they're very deceitful, and they exploit you. They exploit you, they use you. And when they come back, it's only because they want to exploit you and use you more, because they already have other supplies. They already have it in their mind that they want to con you some more, that they can come back and basically do whatever they did to you so many times, do it worse. Because when they come back, they already have other supplies and other things that's going on in their life. And when they come back, the times that they do spend time with you, they're still searching for even newer supply. So even if they left you for someone, when they come back, even if they're still with that person or with other multiple people, a con artist is ongoing. It never ends with them. It's ever going. They don't stop. But if they get, basically because they get bored with you, they just come back to con you a little bit more because it excites them. And once they're able to actually commit the con, which is you allowing them back in, forgiving them for the most heinous, evil things that they have done, to you, that makes them feel like their con actually worked, So when you do take them back, they're usually thinking to themselves like, you stupid, person. I really want to cuss, but they're really thinking you're an idiot, and they're actually laughing in their brain, and it's a joke to them. And to them it's like, oh, wait till you see how bad I dog you out this time. See how bad it's going to feel this time, because it's going to feel way worse than last time. And you thought I really loved you. Think this is love? Are you that stupid? That's usually what they're actually thinking. And it really sucks because, we're empathetic people. So of course, things are going to hurt our feelings, but these people, they don't have any feelings. They go from person to person, and that's just kind of how they live their life, You also have to think about con artists. Like, I heard a story recently about some lady who was telling everyone that she had cancer, and she really didn't have cancer or anything. So she conned a lot of people from, claiming she had cancer. I heard another story about another young lady who she was moving from state to state, having roommates, and she would steal from all her roommates and just disappear. And it was so many cases where people were looking for her for fraud. A lot of these narcissistic men, right now with dating websites and stuff, women as well, of course, they're they're preying on people, even women. They're looking for someone to take care of them, gold digging, and and treating men who actually deserve to get treated with respect wrong, because they believe that everyone is going to hurt them first, which doesn't, it doesn't give them the right to treat anyone the way they do. You have to also think about, for another example, people in foreign countries that are having, relationships with people to con them for a visa, or con them for money, and you got these, Americans and people that are sending them all this money, and they find out that either they're married or they're not the person on the picture, or that they actually work with a group of people to con people. That's actually what they do. And you have to think about all those people that put their heart out, to just love someone, and out of the kindness of their heart, they're sending this money to a foreign country, thinking that this person, is suffering because they're playing the victim, and they kind of have a weak spot for it. So I'm asking you not to fall for the Joker. The Joker comes back. He is the Joker. He's never going to stop being a Joker. He's never going to stop being a con artist. He's never going to start being manipulative. These people, they never change, and the love bombing and the discarding, it becomes less and less and more painful, and they're really just coming back to con you some more, to destroy your spirit some more, and you should actually stand firm, because you do have value. Unlike the narcissist, they don't possess any value. Everything is an illusion. I heard another case of a young lady who, I think she's like, I don't want to say the wrong number, but it was like over $200,000 in debt. And a man was asking her, how can you possibly be in so much debt? And if you believe that the person that you were with was a successful person, because he lied about owning a diamond company and being wealthy. So how can you basically give all your money to someone who claims that they're wealthy? And these con artists, they have an excuse for everything. They're always a victim, and they're always moving from place to place, and they're always looking. They never stop searching. It's always something, because they're just empty vessels. But you have the opportunity to actually move past the Joker, see him for the joke that he actually is. Because as much as he thinks that he's playing you for a fool and that you're the joke, at the end of the day, he's actually the joke. He's actually the joke. He's not the Joker. He's actually the joke. So do yourself a favor and don't look back. Ignore the hoovering, and I wish you guys well. If you guys can like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm available for coaching. And don't fall for the narcissist jokes. Peace. Have a good one.